Execute Order 66. It will be done, my lord. And also, welcome to Nick's Toy Box. Welcome to Nick's Toy Box, your place for everything Hot Toys, Marvel Legends, and other Star Wars collectibles. If you want to see more of this, you know what to do. Today, taking a look at the Clone Commander Cody 2.0. Now, once again, following the trend that we have been seeing of a limited run, especially in the Clone Trooper department. Hoping that's not a forever trend, but it's staying a trend today. Regardless of that, I'm excited to get into this guy and just get my hands on. I missed out on the OG Cody, so when this one went live, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. There are some things that we got to talk about how we get like a Phase 1 helmet, but no other Phase 1 equipment. Regardless of all of that, sit back, get cozy, and get ready for another unboxing. For the unboxing experience, real typical from what we have seen for Hot Toys Star Wars, which is this pull-off top that will then greet us with the inside pamphlet. That's kind of like a large photo that shows it. This one does come with battery operation, so we do get that giant logo slapped on the front. Said it before, say it again. Really would like to see that on the back, but it is what it is. I think they need it to be prominent, so I guess I'll let that slide. Once you take a look at all that information, like I said, this easily slides up to where we're greeted with this little art form looking pamphlet thing. It is real flimsy, but it is really cool. It's always a cool inclusion to get something like this with your figures, because I know some people who will display this behind each of their figures. Slides up really easy, to which we are greeted with Clone Commander Cody encased in his plastic. Luckily, you just get your fingers in there and it should come out relatively easy. But now, without further ado, let's free him. We have a good array of accessories here, some that are necessities to complete the look, and others for some cool customizing. We have a cool array of hands and a swap out hand for those holograms that we will get into, I promise. But we actually get 4. So we have, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Emperor Palpatine, and another clone, which is cool. I love the modeling and the detail of it, and I like an arm that actually has the stationary effect. The only thing I don't like is the USB function. Would have loved a wire somewhere, but I get it. They pop on fairly easy once you get a little bit of force on there, which I do prefer. I like that sturdiness, but once it's on there, that is a cool look. You can get yourself some iconic moments. And I like that they don't just give us 1 or 2. I like the inclusion of having 4 of them. It's sturdy, it's stiff, and of course doesn't have any swivel or movement, but the paint application and the molding is all exquisite. Same goes for the normal actual hands. They're all done well. You get that nice battle damage and worn, and they all look consistent throughout, which is a good look. That is what you want to see here. We get a good array of blasters, which any clone should come with. They all have some nice slight weathering to them, so a little bit of a worn look. And all in all, always blown away. And I'm always glad when we get 2 or more, because I feel like it really just completes what we're going for here. You let me know which blaster would be your favorite for posing. Because with that, we get the commando guns, the little blasters, which are really nice and always a great touch to add. Keeping it pushing, we have his kind of like jetpack backpack here, the nice slim little model. I love that metallic on there and the weathering and the paint application. This thing is pretty stellar. And of course, we got to keep it going, and we have the Phase 1 helmet. Now, I said it earlier, and I'll say it again, it is extremely weird to get a Phase 1 helmet, but no inclusion of Phase 1 armor. We saw it with with Rex, and so I'm like, for a more exclusive run, why are we getting less? That should be a video on its own, so maybe we'll get there one day. But for now, just a quick look of Commander Cody himself, and he looks pretty freaking stellar. You know what else is really stellar here? This head sculpt. The only thing that's going to get a boo out of me is no moving eyes. we're in 2025 and like every Hot Toys come with rolling eyes. This comes off as really lazy. But beyond that, we'll talk about it more in a little bit. We get our standard base, which is textured and weathered very nice to give it that look of the battlefield with that nice shiny Star Wars front piece. And once you get this crotch grabber in, it is display ready. I've said it before, I think module would have been cool for them to attach, but that's not like a make or break. It's just a cool observation. Peeling this off is where we're welcomed for where the batteries need to go in order to establish this light up effect. It is fairly simple to do, and they do come with the batteries already, so you don't really have to fret. The only thing you might need is this little screwdriver. But there you go, you get the little light function on. And let me get this dude assembled again real quick here, so that way we can give it a cool look. So once this is on here, you can see that light is actually pretty strong. We get some really cool illuminating features. But now, getting him on the turntable, just as he comes, this is a stellar figure. I've said it before for my clone troopers. I love how the armor can kind of move around a little bit more freely because it makes posing these guys lots of fun, and it hides, articulation bins underneath the suit that's underneath the armor, which gives it an overall clean look and really levels up how he can pose. Because otherwise, you see exposed joints or way more limited on movement for the sake of hiding joints. I think this method works extremely well. And looking at him, he's a really clean figure in the sense of how good he looks, because he's actually weathered pretty nice. That's always kind of a complaint of mine when we see these guys live action or animated or whatever, and they've obviously seen some damage and some war, and then we'll get a figure in hand and they're like pristine, like straight out of the like Camino area, and it's just like, come on now, let's be real. But in this circumstance, whether you're rocking the OG helmet or the Phase 2 helmet, it definitely looks like he's a veteran of battle. And I gotta be honest with you, real quick, I would rock this helmet way more if the rest of his armor was more consistent. That's like my biggest gripe. But beyond that, this is a really clean figure with 3 different ways to display him for heads, which is pretty awesome for a standard clone trooper. And I guess that's kind of an exaggeration when I say standard, because it was a limited run. You let me know how you feel about the limited run thing. Like I said, me personally, it's a bit gimmicky, and I'm not a fan of it. It really makes people want to do the more of the FOMO and impulse buy, which is what I'm sure they are betting on. But it's really unfortunate for just everyday collectors, especially collectors who love troopers or just like buying figures, but they like the time to save up and let payments process. Regardless of all of that, that aside, that's not affecting this figure review. I'm not going to take that into account for the figure overall. But you let me know. I've already said it 1,000 times. I love these magnet clip-ons because I like how easy it is to take off, and it's not ugly when it's not there. But I like how sturdy they are and just the ease of access. This head sculpt would be a 10 out of 10 for me if we got those moving eyeballs. Unfortunately, without that feature, this is going to get dropped down. Really, it's only like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, which is still great. But the rolling eyes should have been included. But beyond that, this thing is weathered and textured and just done absolutely phenomenal. This is a great upgrade and just an overall fantastic clone trooper. Hold on, I gotta really just peel off these things. There's just so many of them everywhere. But you let me know if the 2.0 was worth it for you if you grabbed one, or if you're on the fence about between the 1.0 to the 2.0. I really do like this one a lot. I think it's a very clean look, and he looks really good. We'll do it again up close and personal with the Phase 1 helmet. This is an absolutely clean look, and I love it. I'm sorry. I'm just getting a little giddy because of nostalgia on it. I love the Phase 1. It's a classic look. I just wish we got more armor for it. But this is that look that we know and love for Clone Commander Cody. And I gotta be honest, it works so well. I'm blown away every time. And once again, articulation is not a problem here because of how the armor slides and moves around. And underneath we have that cloth suit where the joints are then underneath it. It gives you lots of movement, lots of play, which is extremely important, of course, for any figure, but especially a clone who's supposed to be able to run into battle. And as you can see here, he meets all the marks and all the expectations for a 1/6 scale clone trooper. You can get loads of fun posing with him, and when you pair him up with other troopers, loads of fun. This is a kind of a quick one for me. I think all in all, this is a pretty great figure. One thing I didn't point out in an actual clip, because I noticed it after the fact, was his arm with the LED lights kind of pop off a bit, like kind of an issue of not staying sturdy. And, of course, the rolling eyes, or lack thereof, and the lack of more Phase 1 armor. Those things aside, this is all in all a pretty great figure, but I'm interested to know what you think. And with that, as always, if you could subscribe, notification bell, like and share, and leave a comment. Leave a comment, let me know what you think about me or this video. All of that means so much to me and really helps the channel continue to grow. As always, thanks for watching. Click any of these videos to see more of me and more of my collection. Clone Commander Cody 2.0 unboxing. So, catch you in the next one.